Hitting going live. All right. What's going on, everybody? Jacob, Donovan, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. Took a week off, bye week. Team's off. Might as well be off too. Enjoyed the bye week. It was, I'd say, about as good timing for a bye week as the team could have had. I thought it was pretty perfectly placed.
For sure was. Being after the Germany game, then coming back with all the injuries that we've had, letting guys get a little bit healthier, just perfect.
Yeah, it ended up working out perfectly. A lot has changed since we last played a game, which is something we'll get into. Pretty much everybody lost that we wanted to lose, which Donovan made a video on earlier in the week, which is something that we'll get into. Today's been a very busy day for us, more particularly for me, in terms of making a lot of fantasy trades. So in our league, we have the trade deadline today. Like most leagues do it next week or the week after. My logic is, look, the NFL has their trade deadline multiple weeks ago, and their playoffs isn't until well after the fantasy playoffs. Why do some leagues have the trade deadline like a week or two before the end of the regular season? That doesn't make any sense to me personally. Does that make sense?
If you play fantasy football for a while, you kind of get used to having like the week 11 thing. There's a lot of leagues out there where they don't really trade too much, or there's people that don't know how to trade.
We trade a lot.
Yeah, we're a different type of breed.
Well, especially us, especially you and I.
Yeah,
we make a lot of freaking deals. Just kind of go over so 2 different leagues traded. I'm just gonna go over this quickly. Traded away. What? Geez, I already forgot the trades that I made. I traded specifically Jalen Waddle. I traded away Jalen Waddle for Bijan Robinson, which I absolutely loved. Got Jamar Chase in one of my leagues. Did not think that was going to happen. What was your reaction? I know you told me that you think I overpaid a little bit.
I think you did overpay because, given you didn't know who was going to be at your flex spot when you made that trade,
and
because your bench is absolutely trash bags.
No, that's not true. It's not that bad. No, it's not. That is not.
Compared
my
to other
bench
benches,
is not that bad.
Compared to other benches.
Well, I've got like 3 Houston Texans on my bench. It's not great, but there's guys that if I'm asked to use, I don't feel bad about.
Whatever. But at the time, I'm like, you need to win, so it's a matter of the most accumulated points possible, right? And your thought process was, okay, well, Jamar Chase can drop 30 at any time.
Before you go into it, just for go ahead and give the details.
You traded Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua for Jamar Chase. Now, I get Puka hasn't been, as whatever, bro.
Oh my dog, you're really popping into a stream just to do this, dude? Really? This is your fun? Go ahead, have your fun.
Whatever.
Devontae Adams, Puka. If I can get value out, if I can find points in a flex, I'd rather get 20 some odd points a game from Jamar Chase and figure out the flex spot. Especially when I have Travis Kelce, so I'm knowing I'm getting top tight end value. Devon Achane coming back, Derrick Henry, Kyler Murray QB. I feel great about a bunch of spots, and then my receivers every week. I feel good, not great. But then getting Jamar Chase and just figuring out the flex spot, hoping the flex works every week. And then I got Hollywood Brown, who I can now stack Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown, have him as my flex. And I think I'm completely done with guys.
Stacks are overrated. Cardinals have a bye week. Cardinals have a bye week, I think.
Do they? Is it week 13?
I think they have a week 13 bye week.
I think you might be right, actually. Either way, I still feel great, and I have Trevor Lawrence as my backup quarterback now. So even when I can't play Kyler Murray, I still feel very good. Fixing your square real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't set that up properly. I still feel really good, and I feel great about my fantasy teams. Don't have a team below 500. I don't feel great about any league, particularly to win the championship.
I don't think I have one below 500.
I don't feel great about any of mine to win the championship, but I feel good to great about all of mine making the playoffs. which is, hey, look, as long as I can make the playoffs, I'm cool. I'm chilling.
I mean, hey, you're 2 spot given you're tied for
Yeah.
fifth place, but you're 2 spots out, technically speaking.
Yeah,
I
I'm 5-5, and the number 2 seed is 6-4. I can live with that.
the number five seed's also 5-5. So
Yeah, like 6-man playoff.
This is
Oh, I wish it was an 8-man playoff, dude. Do you think? Okay, if I ask the chat to make it an 18 playoff, do you think anybody says no? I know you
Marcelo,
don't say no. Marcelo, yeah, but we can bully
I don't
Marcelo.
say
Into
no.
it. I know you don't say
Marcelo, Tyrell, Andrew, maybe Joe.
no. I don't think they particularly say no because they could lose games. Like number 2 seed is 6-4, and I'm out of the playoffs.
And
with
I played
5-5.
him this week.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
I would do it.
I would do
'cause
it.
It helps me more. It helps
I
me.
would really do it. I would do that immediately.
Yeah. My thought process with you though, Devontae Adams, he's gonna get you anywhere between. I think last week kind of showed that they're gonna force feed him if they need to force feed him. So I think he's going to get minimum 14 points a game, probably upwards of 20 per game.
No.
And that's kind of like your solid flex spot. And Puka, he's either going to get you 6 or he's going to get you 30. Like, and by 30, I mean 25.
Convenient segue. I don't feel great about this Raiders team at all. I don't feel great about, by great, I mean for them. I don't feel great about their ability to get Devontae Adams the ball. Like, they were forcing him the ball earlier in the game, and they kind of gave up. It's like, we know you're good. Our quarterback sucks. But they still found a way to win games. And that's what they kind of did. They didn't find a way to win against the Giants, but they played a really bad team. And then last week against the Jets, just absolutely limping over the finish line to get that done. So obviously, we're here to talk about the Dolphins, here to talk about the Raiders. We'll talk about the Raiders for just a little bit and kind of hammer back on a video that Donovan, you made earlier this week about just how perfect of a bye week this truly was in so many ways.
It actually was incredible. Like, from the beginning of the week to the end of the week to Monday, like just absolute, just masterclass of these games going the Dolphins' way. I mean, we can start first and foremost. The entire division lost. We'll get to the Bills last, but the Patriots, they lost at a heartbreaker in Germany. We just talked about the Jet. It was it was a heartbreaker.
Trash can of a game.
It was a trash can of a game.
It was a dumpster fire of an NFL game.
They both scored on their opening drives, and then I think they didn't score until like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. After that,
literally and metaphorically, thank God I was at church and I didn't have to watch that game.
But then we saw the Jets. Raiders limped over them. Their defense still good. Their offense still bad. Zach Wilson is still Zach. And then you go to the rest of the top dogs in the AFC. The Ravens had a 2-score lead with like 5 minutes to go and somehow squandered that to a guy with a broken shoulder and a high ankle sprain. Yeah, Mr. Ravens fan over here.
I like the Ravens. I can't. Hey, I don't apologize. I don't hide it. I like the Ravens too.
I know. I'm just letting the people know. Mr. Ravens fan over here is kind of heartbroken.
if we went live during the bye week, I have a DK Metcalf jersey. I was going to wear the DK Metcalf jersey, and I was going to wear my Ravens hat just to confuse and piss people off.
Yeah.
That DK Metcalf jersey's clean, though. Can't lie.
I do like that. They have one of the better throwbacks. Yeah. They have one of the better throwbacks in the league. Yeah, and then just to furthermore go into it, the Ravens lost, so they're the 2 seed currently. Now they're 7-3. Their bye week is week 13. So we have a good schedule coming up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The Jags also just absolutely got their teeth stomped in. Like, they
did not see that coming.
All those memes that they've been showing with Jason Kelsey at the bottom of the push pile. That was Trevor Lawrence in this game.
Yeah, I thought the Jags were going to win.
Guy thing.
I picked the Jags to be the number 1 seed. I can, at the beginning of the season, very realistically saw them as a Super Bowl potential team, and they still are. But dude, like, yes, the 49ers are probably the best team in the NFL. We got to see them fully healthy with the addition of Chase Young. They're probably the best team in the NFL. But still, you can't lose 35-3 at home as one of the top teams in the NFL. I don't care who you're playing. You can't do
Yeah, that was abysmal. Honestly, I think the Texans might pass them in the AFC South. But that's for another conversation.
That's gonna be a fun division to watch.
It is gonna be. Ironically enough, we thought it was gonna be the worst division.
That's why I picked them to be number 1 seed, because I thought just that they would run away with it.
And now the Chiefs on their bye week, they didn't really do anything, but I think most of their division opponents won besides, actually all their division opponents won besides the Chargers, who, sorry, man. And,
Brandon Staley, how he still has a job is besides me.
Dan Campbell, though, former Dolphin interim head coach, has the gall to go for it on 4th and 2 in field goal range just so you don't give Herbert back the ball.
I thought he was
I thought they were just going to take the delay of game or call a timeout themselves.
Yeah, I thought they were just trying to get him to jump offside.
But it's kind of like similar between him and McDaniel, because there's like a couple times where like, are they going for this for real or are they just faking it? And I think that's like part of the reason that they went for it is because that maybe the defense was sleeping a little bit, thinking that
their defense
there's no way.
Their defense is much improved, but that Chargers offense was like really clicking that day. And like personally, the reason why I thought they were faking it is because they will do it. The Lions would take that risk. The Dolphins would take that risk. On the other side of the ball, the Chargers would take that risk. So because as a defense you believe they'd really do it, it makes you more inclined to jump off sides and give them the free 5 yards to continue moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy, man. Yeah, you saw the fan pop up on your
My
thing.
fan just turned off for some reason. I don't know why.
That's crazy. And then the Bills.
The Bills.
The Bills.
Has a team imploded like they are imploding?
That was the worst. Like just this season, yes, they're imploding. Cool. That particular game, they had it won. They had it
many things. They decided to win that game. They made they decided to lose that game. They made a conscious effort to lose that game. 4 total turnovers, 3 of which from your star quarterback who plays every game like it's that AFC divisional game against the Chiefs. He feels like he has to play hero ball every single snap, and he has the talent and the ability to do so, but you don't have to do that. You can take the check down. You can hit the curl route. You can just hit a 10-yard pass. You don't have to just throw it into triple coverage every play just because you have a cannon of an arm. And then, Dorsey doesn't make it any better. Like, I don't think he's that good of a offensive coordinator in general. But, I mean, you got Trayvon Diggs saying they need to get Stephon out of there, firing their offensive coordinator. Talk about, is Sean McDermott going to make it at the end once the season comes in? Because I don't think they fire Sean McDermott mid-season. Like, I think
no.
Even if let's say they lose out, which is obviously not, well, I shouldn't say obvious because they do have a very difficult schedule. That's not going to happen. But let's say they did. I feel like you just ride it out with him and then figure it out next year.
Yeah, I don't think that they fire him before the season's over. I do think that they fire him after the season if they don't make the playoffs.
Oh, if they miss the playoffs, 100%.
Yeah, and Rodolfo, like, I don't call that bad luck, bro. I don't call that bad luck. In the last 13 seconds of the game, you get a sack to take them out of field goal range, and then they have to use their last timeout because of that sack. And then you go through a pass interference. That was their last timeout was on that sack. That was their last timeout.
Yeah,
so they used the timeout for that. Yeah. And then they had to. Then Russell Wilson just threw a fuck it.
We ball.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was not their last timeout. Their last timeout. Actually, yes. It was the last timeout because they knelt it down twice.
Yeah, and had to sprint. Like the team had to sprint the kick team on the field, just to proceed to miss it, and then you have DeMar Hamlin who's still on the field.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is not bad luck. Like, you're in that situation, you cannot commit a foul. You know that you have to turn around for the ball and knock it down, not go and drive into the wide receiver that's coming back to the ball.
Jerry Jeudy actually could have done a better job of coming back to the ball. Like in the second replay, I'm like, oh, he didn't even really come back. He just jumped for it. But the guy Johnson still jumped into him. It was still clearly a foul.
It was, yeah. So
everything.
That's how bad of a pass interference it was. And so that's a little bit of a coaching issue. But then the major coaching issue comes when you know that they're going to have to rush these guys onto the field to kick the field goal. And you have 12 men on the field. How do you not make sure? How do you not already have the personnel out there? Why do you have to substitute that? They're not going for it there.
No.
They're going to kick the field goal there.
No, you have to play against like a legitimate play just in case. But like, the offense has to run their guys on, and also because they're substituting, the refs have to allow the defense to appropriately substitute as well. So they were given as much opportunity as they could to get the right people on the field, and still somebody decided, hey, I'm just going to chill here.
And that's just that's just a major coaching issue there.
My heart dropped, and I was so sad. I texted you about it that night. I was so sad for 2.5 seconds before I realized there was a flag on the play, because the Bills should not have won that New York Giants game. I think it was Darren Waller, the guy in the back of the end zone, was getting ripped down. It was a clear hold, pass interference. Take your pick, whatever penalty you want. Clear as day. Do the replay. Clear as day. Wasn't called. Game over. Bills win. They should be 4-6 right now, if not, 4-6 or 5-6 or 4-6 or 4-7. What week are we in? We're week 11 now.
They're 5 and 5, so it'd be 4-6.
Yeah, they should be 4-6 right now, and then like no way. They have their worst game, the second worst game of the year. Giants game being the other one. They do so many things wrong. 4 turnovers. Josh Allen's giving the ball away at will. They decide that James Cook doesn't need to exist anymore for half the game. Then he comes back and he plays really well. Should have been doing that a lot earlier. And then they get bailed out by a missed field goal. That 2.5 seconds was like, I was very down bad. I was as down bad as after the bad snap against the Chiefs at the end. For a minute.
We have to talk about that.
I guess we can a little bit. A minute second. A minute moment. I was like, damn. They really just won that after playing a horrible game. And then you see the 2 little flags just sitting right next to each other. And Will Lutz. Hey, could the Broncos make a run?
That's actually no. They're what's their record? I think they're 5-5.
4 and 5.
I think they're 5-5.
4 and 5. They've had their bye.
4 and 5.
They're 4 and 5.
Oh, okay. So they're 4 and 5, bro. That's honestly
no. The AFC.
Bro, they got Javonte Williams rolling.
Dude, the Steelers suck, and they're 6-3.
That's actually kind of.
And then you have the Chargers, the Bills, and the Bengals, who are currently sitting outside the playoffs, looking in. They're
ESPN bet is now live. That's actually
the Browns. Yeah, I saw that. The Browns, even with DTR, could limp their way into the playoffs if their defense plays as well as they have, and he just doesn't turn the ball over. Because we know they can run the ball. If you get the ball to Amari Cooper, your defense plays well.
That's kind of why, like, I'm still, like, even with Watson's injury, I'm pretty confident. I think that's why they went to DTR instead of PJ, is because that if they can win a couple of games with DTR and get him, like, going, that he has enough physical talent to win some games in the playoffs if their defense doesn't, if their defense stays healthy and holds up.
He very easily could be Skylar Thompson 2.0, where he plays like the best preseason football you've ever seen, and then ends up actually sucking in real life. Because that's what Skylar Thompson
didn't play that bad in the.
Don't make me do this. Don't.
I'm not saying he's good. I'm saying he didn't play bad in the playoffs. He didn't play good, but he didn't play bad. He played mediocre.
Didn't Homie have like a 38% completion percentage?
Something like that.
That's bad. That's very bad.
So it was a lot of drops though that game, so you can't really.
I think there was like, not giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I think there was like 5 or 6 drops in that game.
It was 18 of 45. What's the math on that? I'm not on ESPN. I'm on Google.
We're not mathing that.
I am. 40 on the dot. 40% completion percentage. Scott Thompson sucks. Continue.
So the Broncos coming up actually have the Vikings. Who are on a roll right now.
Vikings. It's in Minnesota, right?
You're saying the Vikings? No, it's in Denver. I think I might take Denver in that.
It's close.
They're at home against the Browns.
Justin Jefferson might be coming back, even though he might be. I don't think Justin Jefferson comes back.
Though.
It's Russell Wilson.
I think Justin Jefferson comes back.
I don't.
Russell Wilson has been playing very well this season.
He's been getting the job done.
Bro, that throw to Cortland Sutton was elite.
The catch was elite.
He,
The catch,
the catch was elite, but the throw was perfect as well.
Eh,
Um,
he threw it out of
they
bounds.
have the Browns.
He threw it out of bounds.
They have
Let's be real.
they have the Browns. They have the Texans. They have the Chargers. They have the Lions. They have the Patriots. They have the Chargers again, then the Raiders to finish off the season.
They're not making the playoffs. They're finishing 500. They're missing the playoffs. They're 8-9, 9-8 at best. They're not getting 10 wins, and you're gonna need 10 wins to get in the AFC. Like if the Steelers can be trash and still be in the playoffs right now, dude, 10 wins might not get you into the playoffs this year. Just like we've seen that last 2 years in the AFC, or well, we had 9 wins last year.
Dolphins made it a lot. 9
yeah.
yeah.
But that also like
the
amount that took for us to get in, like a few things had to go right in order for that to happen. Like the Patriots had to just give the game away against the Raiders and then get curb stomped by the Bills. Like, the Patriots easily could have had 11 wins last year, but they didn't. Like, I wouldn't rely on 10 wins getting you into the playoffs this year. Again, the Steelers suck, and they have 6 wins. They can, again, just dumb luck their way into 4 more wins. The Browns, 6-3. Great defense. DTR, not ideal. Good enough offense around him. They could just sleepwalk to 4 wins from here on to the rest of the season. That means you have one playoff spot between the Chargers, the Bills, the Bengals, and the rest of the AFC, including the Broncos. There's no way.
So here's an interesting thing. So every single year, Week 11, ESPN brings out their playoff machine. I have it open right now.
Ooh,
if you
that's already out.
It comes out Week 11 every year. So if you want to do the
it's kind of too early to be doing this, but screw it, we ball.
I mean, we ball. So, what do we have? What do we have to lose here? So, you have it pulled up.
7 weeks, yes. Are we really about to do 7 weeks worth of matchups?
Yes. We're just gonna roll through this. We're just gonna roll through it.
Whatever.
We're not gonna go over it. Just who wins? Ravens, Bengals. I'm going Ravens.
Fine, we'll go Ravens. I'm not gonna argue.
Washington Giants. I'm taking Washington.
Jeez, your order is you're going up and down. You're weird.
Yeah. Browns Steelers. I'm going Browns. Niners
Steelers.
Bucks. You're going Steelers at Browns.
They're playing DTR. Yes, I'm going Steelers.
That offense is terrible. I'm going. So we'll see how ours matches up. Taking the Bills over the Jets. I'm taking the Texans over the Cardinals. Taking the Jags over the Titans. I'm taking.
We're not doing this for 7 weeks. We're not doing this for 7 weeks. I'm putting the stop on this right now. We're not doing this for 7 weeks. We're not. The poor 5 people that are watching, we're not subjecting them to this. You can be this little nerd in your off. Basically, the Broncos probably aren't making the playoffs. Dude, unless an absolute catastrophic event happens, we're making the playoffs. And I'd even go to far as say as long as the catastrophic event doesn't happen, we win the division. Because like you just mentioned, obviously the Jets and Patriots at this point in the season are not winning the division. The Jets, there's a time where they had a winning record, like, oh my gosh, maybe the team's really good, and clearly they're ass. And then the Bills, the schedule. Let me pull up the Bills' schedule real quick, because I know it gets rough. Like, I know they still haven't played the Chiefs. I know they still haven't played the Eagles. So this week they have the Jets. And then they have the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Chargers. Patriots again, and then us. There is a world that the Bills win 2 more games for the rest of the season. That is possible.
There is a world. That is very, very possible.
Especially,
Imagine they get swept. Imagine they get swept by the...
Oh my gosh.
Imagine they get swept
by the Jets. That'd be hilarious. If they do, actually, if they lose to the Jets, maybe you do just fire Sean McDermott. But listen to this. It's at the Eagles, at the Chiefs, home against the Cowboys, at the Chargers, at the Dolphins.
It's not easy.
4 of their 5 hard games left. And again, they could lose to the Jets and they could lose to the Patriots. Even their easy games are divisional opponents, and we see every single week there seems like there's a divisional upset every single week, like the Chiefs and the Broncos. Like, it just kind of happens. So you have to play the Jets, you have to play the Patriots. There's a possibility they split that, and then 4 out of the 5 difficult games on their schedule, they are playing on the road. They're not making the playoffs. I'm saying it here. Hey, bring it, bro. Bring this back. Bring this back in a few months. The Bills aren't making the playoffs.
And you know what? I may have everybody in the pick'ems do the playoff machine and take a picture of what it looks like, and then whoever's closest at the end gets like another bonus or whatever.
No, unless it's coming out of your check, your pocketbook. I'm not
It's
funding.
$5.
I'm not. You're just a nerd, all right.
No.
You're,
Do you guys
but also
think
like look back.
Yeah,
At the,
hey. Do you think Tua looks like Drake?
a little bit.
A little bit.
He kind of looks like a combination of Drake and Kyler Murray.
Yes. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it till you said it, but yes.
He looks like.
Yes.
You know what? Look, I like it. I texted you before. I love Tua's new hair, like the cornrows. I didn't think it would work, but I like the confidence that comes with that. We've seen a lot of things from Tua that has shown his confidence is growing. You know, the way he talks, the way he walks, the full tattoo sleeve on one of his arms. He dances a little bit. He just, whereas he felt like he was so just closed and afraid, he feels like he can just open up and be himself. And look, that was not on the bingo card for Tua and the Dolphins this season, but I absolutely love Tua's hair.
I agree.
Should we do it? You want to see some cornrows?
You're gonna get cornrows? Oh, my hair's not long enough for that.
Yeah, it's not. Look, if we get to 1,000, jeez, can't believe I'm doing
Oh
this.
my god! No!
If we get to 1,000 subs by the end of November, I'll get cornrows.
Oh my god! Y'all just sub right now.
I would be single. I'd be single so quick if I did that. This is me shaking hands. This is Donovan signing up a bunch of fake accounts and like making a bunch of fake emails and subbing.
I'm making 100 fake emails right now,
Look,
bro.
Y'all are watching and you want to see me with cornrows? Hey, sub to the channel. Basically. Please, also people in here while we're here. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We appreciate y'all over here. I just got a trade offer from Man. He didn't really specify.
Ooh.
This is in Publix. He said interested in Kittle and Kirk package. For ? So I guess I'll ask you, which side would you rather have? This is redraft. If y'all are watching the comments, y'all can give your thoughts. So George Kittle and Christian Kirk for Sam Laporta and Hollywood Brown. Oh, he just straight up said interested in Kittle and Kirk package, and I said for ? And he said for a wide receiver. I mean, for Hollywood Brown, yeah, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna do I have DJ Moore, Hollywood Brown, and Cooper Kupp as well as Josh Downs. I'm not gonna do Cooper Kupp or DJ Moore for that when I have Sam Laporta.
Oh, you have Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's no need for me to do that. He says a receiver, just a receiver, or a running back. Unless it's Hollywood Brown, I'm not doing that. I'm saying, for Hollywood, I'd do that.
It's kind of like me trading you Javonte for Logan Thomas and Rashee Rice. Now, given I got him back, just an FYI, people. Before you call me crazy.
You did get Javonte. Went off. I mean, it helped me. I appreciate you. I think that helped me win a matchup. Appreciate you, Raphael. Appreciate you, Rodolfo.
Yeah.
Even appreciate G-Man, the absolute dweeb.
Bro.
His name is...
His
name is G-Man the Dolphin. And he says, Dolphrods, oh god, fantasy geeks buy losers. What a fun guy. What a fun guy.
He's fun at parties.
I thought you were going to say call him Doofus the second time. I was going to call you a Doofus. Man, it said, oh nah. Yeah, I don't have any... Yeah, I just don't have any need...
I'm almost done with this.
So Devon Achan's coming back, probably.
Dude,
right?
I'm so psyched. Someone asked us in our comments, will we start Achan in fantasy this week?
I said I would.
I'm starting him in 3 leagues.
I'm starting him in 2 leagues.
Ahead.
With Devon Achan, look at his numbers. He wasn't getting a tremendous amount of volume. He was just the most efficient running back of all time for a 3-week period. He just took almost everything to the house, and if he didn't, he was getting a first down. Like, it'd be 1st and 15, and he still find a way to get a first down. So, like, the worry is, oh, he's going to come back and he's not going to get a lot of usage. Well, he didn't need a lot of usage before to get high totals. Like, yeah, I'm sure they ease him back into the offense, especially now that we have Jeff Wilson back. There's no need to push him in and be the alpha, the 1A to this offense. Like, even if he's the 1C in terms of touches, he could easily get you 15 fantasy points. He could easily have a catch for 35 yards. He pretty much always gets a touchdown when he's in the red zone, even though he's the smallest running back outside of Savon Ahmed on the team. I feel great about starting him in fantasy football. Okay, maybe not great. I feel
very,
more than
very,
good.
very good.
I wouldn't even say very. I feel more than good. There is still that concern. So, like, look, if you're blessed, like, let's say your team's 9-1, Marcelo, and let's say you have, let's call it Breece Hall, you have Derrick Henry, and then you have 3 solid receivers. Like, you got Puka Nacua, you had your first pick, you had, let's call it Jamar Chase, and you have Hollywood Brown. Like, let's say you're blessed where you have 2 running backs where you feel confident with starting with, and then 3 receivers or an additional running back in that flex. Look, bench him. But most fantasy leagues, most situations, most of you guys watching are probably somewhere between 4-6 and 6-4. That's just a reality of the situation. If you're in that range, you probably don't really have much of a better choice, especially with running backs being so limited and how good. Like Kieran Williams is still I'm pretty sure Kieran Williams is still a top, whatever. Kyren is still a top 20 running back. I'm pretty sure he's still a top 20.
He is.
Or he's either he either is or he's just not there.
I forgot I had him in one of my leagues. He's
I'm checking to make sure I get that correct, that he is in fact. I think he's like running back 17 or something. He's actually 22.
This week though, my lineup in one of our leagues, I have Mahomes, I have Rashad White, I have Achane, I have Justin Jefferson, I have Tyreek Hill, I have Brian Robinson or Josh Downs at my flex. I am so happy.
Yeah, the bye week, the brutal bye weeks are for the most part over. Like, you still have the Ravens who have their bye week now. Now the Cardinals actually have serious fantasy like weapons. Like, you have Kyler Murray, you have James Conner who just came back. You have a player at every position, Hollywood Brown and Trey McBride. Like, you have somebody who you can start at every position on the Cardinals depending on your team breakdown. So there's a few the Giants suck, but if you have Saquon Barkley, you probably have to start him because you drafted him in like the 2nd or 3rd round. So just kind of is what it is. But we started talking about Devon Achane's back. River Craycraft looks like he's gonna play, which very rarely does something like that. Go ahead.
He's off the injury report, and he was activated on Tuesday, which was the last day that he could be activated. We actually released Kelvin Joseph, who was involved in the trade with Igbo, for that roster move, and he's off the injury report. He's not on the injury report at all, so he's going to be good to go. And I talked about it a little bit last week in like why the Dolphins haven't been as good against some of these teams is like River Craycraft and those outside zone runs, his blocking ability, he's the best blocking receiver we have. His blocking ability on the outside is so key to some of these runs. Yeah. Like, even if you go back and look at Achane's big runs, Craycraft is always there throwing a big block in there somewhere. So
in this offense, I mean, you see over with the 49ers, like that touchdown that Deebo Samuel had on the end around, like Brandon Ayuk had a massive block. So the wide receivers have to be able to pick up blocks in this offense. River Craycraft's 29 years old. That doesn't
he's
sound
been in the league
right.
for a while.
Dog,
he's been in the league, what, 6-7 years?
I thought he was a rookie like a year ago. I don't know these things. I don't know this guy.
He was on the 49ers practice squad.
I see that. Yeah, I had no idea. But so the Dolphins getting both of them back. Likelihood is both of them end up playing, or at the very least being able to play. Like, obviously River Craycraft doesn't have a massive role on this team, but he is activated. So you're going to see probably River Craycraft out there. You're going to see Devon Achane out there. Both, like you said, one way or another, whether it's been actual production or helping out in others' production, both players massive impacts on the team. So we're going to take a look at the rest of the injury chart, and this is as of Wednesday. So if it got changed by the time you're watching this, it gets changed. Still a very long list, but as opposed to weeks past, I'm not really concerned about like the better players on this list. Like we were talking beforehand, Robert Hunt's probably not going to play. Robert Jones probably not going to play. But you look at the rest of these guys, I feel fairly confident about most of these guys being active. So starting with do not practice guys, going all the way down to full practice. Those who did not practice, Braxton Berrios, and his is a hamstring, so maybe he doesn't make it out there. Chase Claypool with a knee. Robert Hunt, like I previously mentioned, with the hamstring. Alec Ingold, Robert Jones, Durham Smythe, all of which are do not participants. Devon Achane, Teron Armstead, Raheem Mostert were all limited, so nice to see Devon Achane back on this list. Again, I assume he's going to play as long as he has no setbacks. The likelihood is he's going to play. Teron Armstead, he's probably going to be on the injury list as for the rest of his career. That's just the reality of the situation. Even if he's not that beat up, he's still beat up in some way. Then full participants were Savon Ahmed, Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, Jalen Waddle. So a lot of big players for this Dolphins team are on this list, but do you really feel too concerned about any of those heavy hitters missing?
No, I think it's been typical throughout this entire season. The Dolphins are really cautious with injuries. Even coming out of the bye week, they want to ease some of these guys back. Even though it says did not participate, they're always doing something in the building. They're, rehabbing or doing like little exercises on the side. Like they said with Robert Hunt, he didn't practice. But he was going to be working on the side with trainers and, trying to see what he can do because he's not participating in the team aspect, but he's doing his individual stuff. And, that's always encouraging as well with a soft tissue injury like he has a hamstring.
Yeah,
a hamstring brother.
And then go.
I had to throw that one in for you.
This man here has one. I wish I either A, got that on. Oh, if we were wearing. So we play football every single Friday. And last week he bought some GoPros for his racing stuff that he has going on. But we wore them last week. And if only we had those available for when you went down with your hamstring injury. Or at the very least, I wish I took a picture because it would be right on screen right now with everybody watching if this eventually becomes a video, which I assume it will be. So this man has one hamstring. What's your recovery looking like on that before we get into the rest of this? What do you have? How much long is on the timeline?
It's been like 3.5 weeks now, almost
so you got
4.
Probably another 4, and then you start like really recovering?
It's just that's when the muscle heals up and, I'm able to actually do stuff, although I haven't done the PT like I'm supposed to because I don't have time for PT.
Remember you used to get on me about or you still do, you should stretch every day, which I still stretch, I won't say more often than not, but quite often. I've been at least 3 days a week.
I've been stretching, but the PT is when I need to take a massage gun to my hamstring, and that's actually a really difficult angle.
Just do that before you go to bed.
It's not that I won't do it, it's that I can't actually get it at a good enough angle to get it properly.
Press it against the wall
or go to a physical therapist, and that just sounds and looks wrong in my head.
Well, the great thing is you live by yourself, so you don't have to worry about anybody coming in Donovan, what are you doing?
Or have someone with the massage rollers just go across my my hamstring, and that's kind of the typical PT that you're supposed to do for injuries like that.
Yeah.
They kind of smooth the muscle out, and also the suction cup stuff also helps a lot. But once again, haven't been able to. So
yeah. Well, like you said, there is a couple hamstring brothers on the Dolphins injury report: Braxton Berrios and Robert Hunt. There's also one over on the Las Vegas Raiders that is going to be safety Roderick Teamer. I think I said that right. I don't really know who that is, to be honest with you guys. Their injury report is not listed in order in terms of do not practice and limited participants and full participants. So this is really stupid. So I'm going to have to kind of break through this. So did not practice today: Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Amik Robertson, and Curtis Bolton. Curtis Bolton was sick. Amik Robinson with a concussion. So we all know how this goes in NFL in 2023. He's probably not going to play. Dylan Parham, one of their guards, has a calf injury, and Colton Miller, a shoulder injury. Limited was Adam Butler, Max Crosby, arguably their two best defensive linemen. Definitely Max Crosby is their best defensive lineman. Divine Diablo, Nate Hobbs, Marcus Peters with a knee. Apparently, didn't even know who that was. Roderick Teamer and Greg Van Roten all limited as well. Jeez, Greg Van Roten has biceps, quad, and triceps. Dude is just all sorts of messed up. He's also
sounds like Teron Armstead.
Well, conveniently, he's also an offensive lineman. And then full participant today was just Jacob Johnson, who's full backup there, is coming back from a concussion. So again, with the Dolphins, look, there's a lot of guys on there, especially a lot of big names. You're talking Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland, Teron Armstead, Devon Achane, just to name some of them. Obviously, some big guys, but all 5 of those guys I expect to play. If any of those guys are missing, you're looking at Braxton Berrios. You're looking at Chase Claypool. You're looking at Robert Hunt, Robert Jones. Like Alec Ingold, he hasn't practiced virtually all year and always finds a way to play. So big guys, big literally and metaphorically, most of which I expect all to be on the field for the Dolphins. It's very refreshing to finally see injuries start to go our way, because it feels like we've had just such an intense injury list all year long.
So with Achane being activated, we actually have used up 6 of our allotted 8 spots.
And Craycraft.
No. Well, Craycraft already counted.
Oh, okay.
I was just counting the last one. So we've used 6 of our allotted 8. However, we have Isaiah Wynn, who still has a long journey to go, according to McDaniel in his press conference yesterday.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
It was kind of pessimistic.
Yeah.
Eric Ezukanma still has no timetable, and I think Chris Brooks is pretty much going to be ready to go whenever. But we're kind of on the same page with that, is that we think with Achane coming back and, we don't really have a need for Chris Brooks right now, because it's not like we're going to go out there and cut Jeff Wilson Jr. So it looks like he's going to be on IR for the rest of the year if Wynn can get back.
Yeah,
if Wynn can't get back,
you can just find a running back. And there's 100 dudes on waivers that are all replacement level guys, just as similar to Chris Evans. Chris Brooks. I got
Evans is Captain America.
No, I got Darrington Evans and Chris Brooks confused, because I remember I said to you that we could just elevate Darrington Evans off the practice squad, and you informed me he was on the Bears. I'm like, oh.
Yep, he's actually they're going to be in a 4-way split here soon. The Bears are with Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, Foreman, and Darrington Evans.
It's Khalil Herbert season again, hopefully. Hopefully for a couple of my fantasy teams, hopefully.
Anyways,
so let's get back to the Raiders. Or did you want to continue to talk about what we were just talking about?
I was gonna change over to the playoff machine.
One more time. No.
I finished it. I finished it. I'm just telling you. So the way I have it set right now in the AFC.
You've been doing this whole time?
No, I finished it like 10
what a
minutes ago.
loser.
I finished it like 10 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh.
First seed Chiefs 14-3. Second seed Dolphins 14-3. Third seed Houston Texans.
We're not finishing 14-3.
Fourth seed Baltimore Ravens at 12-5. Fifth seed Cleveland at 11-6. Sixth seed Bengals at 11-6.
That's probably happening.
And seventh seed Denver at 10-7.
That's.
I'm telling you, I went through the games.
So not only are you a loser,
Houston Texans have the easy schedule.
Not only are you a loser, you're also wrong about what you did to be a loser.
Bro, go and do it yourself. You're gonna see. So I think that, ironically enough, before the season started, I predicted that the Dolphins would be the 1 seed at 14-3 and the Chiefs would be the 2 seed at 14-3. Except I had it backwards on who won the Germany game.
Well, how do you have the NFC finishing? Just while we're here, I guess.
Philly 15-2, 1 seed, 2nd seed. Lions 15-2, 3rd seed. San Francisco 14-3.
Jeez.
Atlanta 11-6.
How did you
I don't
find
know.
11 wins for the
They
Falcons?
have it. They have an easy schedule, bro.
They
They have an
suck.
easy schedule.
You could
They
say,
still, but it
you could
doesn't.
also say,
They
the Saints have an easy schedule. You could say the Panthers have an easy schedule. You say the Buccaneers have an easy schedule because they all suck. There's no way that
but okay.
anyone in that division is finishing with a winning record.
Hear me out. They
No,
beat the Saints. They beat the Saints. They beat the Jets. They beat the Bucks. They beat the Panthers. They beat the. I'm gonna change that to the Colts. Beat the Bears, and then they beat the Saints again.
they're not beating the Saints again.
Bro, the Saints are ass.
The
Yeah,
Saints
I'll give you
are
I'll give-
100% better
okay.
better than the Falcons. I don't care if they beat them already once. The Saints are for sure better than the Falcons.
All right, so I'll have that. Those 2 wins I changed around. They're 9-8. Anyways, Dallas 11-6, 6th seed Seattle at 10-7, 7th seed Minnesota at 9-8.
Who was it? You said Dallas, Minnesota, Seattle, or vice versa. Those last two.
Yeah, Dallas, Seattle, Minnesota.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say that that's probably going to be the 3 wildcard teams. I mean, who probably finished just outside of that in the NFC?
Saints at 9-8.
Washington.
Washington I have at 7-10. They have a
NFC
difficult
sucks.
schedule.
Okay,
NFC does.
let's rein this back in from this absolute lunacy that we've heard from this man for the last minute and a half. Because not only did you waste your time doing all that, you just again, please bring this back and quote me on it if I'm wrong. But there's no way that half of those things even come close to happening. But
I do think that the Texans have a realistic chance because when I looked at their record, I went back through and I'm like, okay, they can win all these games.
Texans.
And by can, I mean like
Yeah, but you
13.
the
I have them at
Jaguars
13
missing the
4, but
playoffs.
at 10-7.
Okay, they got smacked around by the Niners, but that's not happening. They're not missing the playoffs.
I have them winning a lot of games.
You have
It's
the
just-
Browns in the playoffs over them.
I have the Browns winning 1 more game than them. That's it. Like,
That's enough. That's enough. Clearly.
But I have them losing to the Texans next week. I have them winning this week.
Okay,
I
let's
have
talk about the
them
Raiders.
losing to the
No,
Bengals.
you're done. We're talking about the Raiders now. Okay, you're done. So the Raiders obviously now fired their head coach Josh McDaniels a couple weeks ago, and things have looked better in the sense that they're winning games, and they won 2 games in a row. You break down those games, they beat the Giants 30-6, they beat the Jets 16-12. There's a lot of losses in the state of New York this year. It's not necessarily an injunction in the season say, oh, they are now legit. This is a change in the season for the Raiders. Mentality for sure. Like the team looks a lot looser. They look a lot more confident, and I think Antonio Pierce, what he is doing by empowering the players, letting them be themselves, uplifting them, like he has the practice players like on the sideline in their uniform in the game. Like I like what he's doing. He's doing all the right things to be an interim coach. But this is still an absolutely terrible football team. We'll start by breaking down the offense. And the way I do this on here is I find a stat that the Dolphins and the Raiders have similar enough so I can put it right next to each other. The only stat that is particularly close between the two teams, actually they're both number 1 in 4th down percentage. It's 4th down percentage in sacks allowed. Believe it or not, the Dolphins are second in the country in sacks allowed. Did not know that, but I guess it makes sense with some weeks we've been better than others. Their offense. Dear God, this team is terrible on offense. They are 30th in points. They run the least amount of plays. They are 30th in yards. They throw 26th in interceptions, which is actually not that bad. It's actually the other way around, where bad is good, the way that lineups has it set up. They are 21st in passing yards. They are 30th in rushing yards. They suck in the red zone. They don't get there a lot. They're 21st in red zone percentage, 21st in red zone touchdowns, 26th in total touchdowns, 26 in first downs. So anything above 20 is pretty bad. If you're in the 10 to 20 range, okay, that's solid. Pretty much all of their rankings, they are in the 20s or 30s on offense. And on the defensive side of the ball, it's not a lot better. It's a little better. Actually, no, it's still pretty bad. They're 25th in points allowed. They are 31st in passing touchdowns allowed. 25th in total touchdowns allowed, 15th in rushing touchdowns allowed. So they're slightly better against the rush, but they allow the 21st, or they're 21st in the country in rushing yards. 27th actually, 21st is rushing attempts. They're horrible in the red zone. They let teams get to the red zone at will. They're the second worst team in the league in terms of red zone attempts and red zone touchdowns. They're not good on first down, 29th. They're not good on third down, 27th. And they're not good on fourth down, they're 26th. This is a very bad football team. And they've shown a little life. They've won 2 games in a row. Interim head coach, you kind of see that juice. Like we saw last year with Jeff Saturday. He came with the Colts, he won a game, and then the wheels completely fell off. You bring in a guy, or you let a guy stay that has the players' backs, that the players will fight for, and that'll have a respectable end of the season. They're 5-5. They're technically right outside the playoffs, but Donovan, there's a reason why the spread's like 10.5 in favor of the Dolphins. This is a very bad football team.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. It's really bad, really really bad. And then I think this is honestly gonna be a defensive clinic by the Dolphins. Just Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, both fully healthy, going against this just not good offense. Their offensive line is bad. Their running game is bad. Their quarterback is a rookie and not playing well. So, yeah, they have Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, but they're not good. I mean, the offense is not good. Not the players, I'm saying. But they have good receivers. They have 2 good receivers, 3 if you count Hunter Renfrow.
I don't.
But they don't ever use him.
He sucks.
He's always open, but they never use him.
He's open at the line of scrimmage. He's like empty, like people, well, specifically BDGE calls Derek Carr empty calories. Derek Carr, like anytime you see Hunter Renfrow throw the ball, it's empty calories. It's always at the line of scrimmage. It's never open across the middle of the field, 20 yards. It's never like a deep shot. It's always just he ran a slant. He is the slant boy. Yeah, he's true slant boy.
He's true slant boy. He's true slant boy. I'll give you that. But you don't have the quarterback to go and give it to them. And our linebackers have been playing a lot better as of recently as well. Our defense as a whole getting used to this system. Once again, our secondary is the healthiest it's been since 2019 or 2020. I mean, when we had a top 5 defense. Like we have Nick Needham back. We have Jalen Ramsey back. Xavier Howard is a little bit healthier now. Kader Kohu still playing at a really high level. Like the healthiest this secondary has been since 2020. And I'm excited to see what it can do in this new scheme, as they've gotten better almost every single week this year.
Yeah, we are blessed. We are blessed with a bunch of good players, and it's kind of takes some time, but we're starting to finally figure out people's roles and how, especially on the defensive side with the new defense, a lot of things that need to get ironed out have been. So yeah, I certainly agree with you. Whereas on the other side, it's the other way around, where not necessarily the other way around, but they have a limited amount of good players and are just hoping they play really well. And they haven't necessarily been playing really well. They've had, better years than some. Like Devontae Adams, obviously he's a problem. And obviously he's, the main guy to focus on, even with Aiden O'Connell not being a good quarterback. Fun fact, Aiden O'Connell went to Purdue. And fun fact, he just barely beat FAU last year. FAU sucks this year, their football team, and they sucked last year. And he barely beat FAU. Just fun fact. In 4 games played, 675 yards. That's bad. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, sacked 10 times. That's horrible. Completion percentage of 63.5. Not good, not bad. Josh Jacobs, he's not having the season he did last year. A lot is because of the offense, a lot is because of the offensive line, a lot is because of the offensive coaching he had to deal with. 622 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns. And then Devontae Adams, 659 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's got to be frustrated. They aren't getting him the ball as much. They struggle to get him the ball, so it's not as simple as just get him the ball when the quarterback can't quite facilitate correctly. Jacoby Myers having a respectable season, 463 yards, 5 touchdowns. He'll probably finish just under 1,000 yards. Devontae Adams will probably just finish just over. But is there really anything you like about this team?
No. Max Crosby?
Max Crosby's a dog. Like,
Max Crosby versus Austin Jackson, that's going to be a...
Look, even though he almost said the N-word a few weeks back, like... he's still a dog. And I think if there's...
Oh my god.
I think
he like smoked a joint on live TV.
Blunt. Get it right.
Whatever.
Well, it's legal. It's legal in the NFL and it's legal in Vegas. So, like... why
Is
not?
it legal in the NFL now?
It is. They don't test for it anymore. Which...
Okay.
They took how many years it took for them to finally do that. It was absurd. Like,
it was
pumping with pain pills, something that is naturally grown in the earth. I wonder what's better. Yeah, he's a dog. He's got 9.5 sacks this year. He easily leads the team in sacks. Like, he's 9.5 of their 26 total sacks on the season. Robert Spillane, guy who had the game-winning interception last week against the Jets. Well, kind of the game-winning interception because the Jets got the ball back. He leads the team in tackles with 81. He somehow also leads the team in interceptions with 3 of the total 9 interceptions for this Raiders team. Like, they have some guys. They have some guys that, looking at this Dolphins team, I would want on the team. Obviously, don't have to beat around the bush. I would love to have Josh Jacobs on this team. I would love to have Devontae Adams on this team. I'd even quite like Jacoby Myers on this team. Like, Jacoby Myers would be a very solid 3 on this Dolphins team. And on the defensive side,
or not Trent Richardson, Trent Sherfield style. Trent Sherfield style.
Yeah, except better. Like, he's a better version of Trent Sherfield.
Oh yeah.
And then again on defense, like Robert Spillane leading the team in tackles, 81, leading the team in interceptions with 3. Max Crosby, Trevon Moehrig, who I actually thought we were going to take him over Javon Holland. And I remember when we took Javon Holland, I remember I was sitting in Brew's room on the corner of University and Ramblewood, and we took it on Javon Holland. I'm like, who? And I like to watch Oregon football. I wouldn't call myself quite a fan, but I enjoy Oregon football, and I had no idea who he was. Like, Moehrig was, or Merrick, whatever his name is, however you pronounce that. He was like going into the draft, a projected number 1 safety. He's been okay. He's been solid. There's a few guys, John Jenkins, Marcus Peters, like there's a few guys that, the most NFL fans know their name and have seen them play.
Adam Butler.
But like, you're really plucking at strongs. Funny enough, there's another David Long Jr.
Yeah, I saw that. He's a corner, right?
He's a corner, yeah. He has only 12 tackles on the season. Has a pass deflection. He has like no other stats besides that. So that's going to be fun. David Long Jr. on both sides of the ball, kind of like when Josh Allen goes against Josh Allen. Unfortunately, unless it's on special teams, which I don't believe our David Long plays special teams at all, they're not going to be on the field at the same time. So that's going to suck.
Yeah, that sucks.
That would be fun. Like, one tackles the other or one blocks the other. So, yeah, bottom line is Raiders team, very bad at football.
Very bad at football.
So, with that, we'll get into the actual preview. So, it's the first game back from the bye. First game that we've had at home since... What was that last game? Not the Giants.
Panthers? Patriots.
Oh, Patriots. Yes, since the Patriots game, we've been on the road a little bit, had that bye week, and now we're back. We're about as fully healthy, or assuming to be fully healthy once Sunday comes around, as we have been this entire season. And there's a lot that people have talked about with this team, that the Miami Dolphins can't beat good teams, and proof is in the pudding. 0-3 against teams below 500. Undefeated against teams above 500. This team is at 500, so it's not going to affect that stat one way or another unless we lose, and then they're going to throw that into it. But I find it highly unlikely that we lose against this very bad Raiders team, who, maybe we just talked about earlier on the stream, they've had some sort of resurgence since Antonio Pierce has taken over. The way he's handling this team, the man management, how he empowers the players, lifts them up, lets them show their personality, lets them really kind of do whatever they want when they're not on the football field, and then like bringing the practice players, the practice squad guys onto the field. I like what he's got going on. I like that he's turning the corner a little bit with this Raiders team when there was so much negativity around them with Josh McDaniels. I like what he's doing, but this is a team that is clearly devoid of talent, and a team that the Dolphins, if we come out of this with anything but a win, if you come out of this with anything but like at least a 2-score win, I'd be a little disappointed.
Yeah, I would definitely be disappointed if it's not a two-score win, at the very minimum. But I have a question for you. Does Alec, Pierce,
Al
Pierce,
Pierce on the Colts.
okay, sorry, what's his
Antonio Pierce,
name? It's Antonio Pierce.
former Giant.
Does Antonio Pierce kind of remind you of Dan Campbell when he took over the Dolphins?
Yeah, like that alpha, that leader, that guy that
Yeah.
the players believe in. Former player, easy
So,
to relate to. So yeah, 100%.
so you remember how one of his first games we absolutely came out and destroyed the Texans?
I do not remember that, but I believe you.
Oh, yeah, we absolutely we ended up we put up 40 points on the Texans in like the first half, and then we didn't score the rest of the game because we benched all our guys. But
No way, that was with Dan Campbell.
that was with Dan Campbell,
What year was
bro.
that? That was at home?
2014, 2015,
Dude, I was at
2015.
that game. Dan
Yeah,
Campbell
it was
coached that
that.
game?
Yeah, man.
Dude, it started raining. Lamar Miller went crazy. Their tight end just said whoop with the ball in the air, ran it back for a pick six. Like that was a very fun game. For
It
that half.
was
And then
for
the
the
second half was
half,
pretty
and
boring.
the second half was boring as hell. But that's kind of where I'm getting into this is after that game, after that high, they kind of fell back down to
Yeah.
reality and started losing games throughout the rest of the season. So the Raiders are at that high right now. When do they come down from that high? I mean, Dan Campbell did something very similar as to what Antonio Pierce did in firing both offensive and defensive coordinators when he was the Miami Dolphins interim head coach. Antonio Pierce fired the offensive coordinator. So that could be, could be something that they're going to end up on this massive decline the rest of the year. Starts with us, a good team.
That happens a lot of the time with coaches,
Interim coaches in general.
Like we saw last year with the Colts. Like you bring Jeff Saturday, they have that immediate success, and then it immediately goes like it got to the point where like that first week you're like, oh my gosh, a guy who works for ESPN can just coach the team, and next thing you know they're winning games. And then for the rest of the season, they did not win a single game following that. I don't know if the Raiders are necessarily going to have that big of a fall off. There are games they can win on the rest of their schedule. It does get rough from here because they got us, and they have the Chiefs, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Chiefs again. So they very well could lose every single game until New Year's Eve, which is the Colts and the Broncos. Or the Colts and then the Broncos the week following. So there's a chance they win those two games. But that's not... Antonio Pierce is not asked to come in and make this team a playoff team. He's not asked to come in and win the Super Bowl. Mark Davis, I think, specifically selected him. I think he was one who selected... Especially since they fired their GM, fired the coach. Like, who else is going to make the decision at that point?
It was Mark Davis, yeah.
Yeah, he specifically selected him because who knows if Antonio Pierce ever becomes a good coach, like a good NFL head coach, like Dan Campbell has. Who knows if he does that? But what I think they saw in him was, again, a guy that is going to be a great leader of men, that has, first of all, he's won 2 games in a row, so he's clearly doing something right coaching, that he's a younger coach. You're going to give him this platform, this stepping stool to showcase his talents and what he can do as a head coach to potentially get that job one day. But for now, he's a guy that's just going to ride the ship. You're likely not going to have a lot of players, crying out about how the coaching sucks, how they're miserable to be there. Like, even though they might be miserable to be there for the rest of the season when they start losing games, they're going to want to fight for each other. They're going to play for each other. They have a guy at the head coach that they want to fight for and will go forward the rest of the season and give it their all for, even if it is in losing efforts. Whereas we saw with Josh McDaniel, he completely lost the locker room. I mean, didn't they literally bully him his last week there, because they just got sick and tired of him?
It was actually hilarious. So Josh McDaniels called this team meeting, and it was an open meeting where everybody can speak their mind and speak up. And he had Antonio Pierce speak, and Antonio Pierce was on the Giants team that beat the
Patriots.
Beat the Patriots in their undefeated season. And he's like, we believed that we could beat anybody, and that's the kind of mentality that we have to have, and blah blah blah. And then Josh McDaniels went up to him after that and was like, "Don't you ever talk about the Patriots that way." Like, huh? What? Like, bro, he wasn't even talking bad about the given. We got a summary of it, not the word for word, but from what I'm hearing, he didn't talk bad about the Patriots. He just said that they
Yeah,
believe
they
that
were
they
just
can
in the
beat
story.
anybody. Yeah, they just happen to be the other team. Who cares if it was the Patriots or the Colts or even if it was the Giants and he was on the Patriots? Like, who the cares?
No. Yeah, he was not. He's not a good man manager. He made similar mistakes that he did with the Broncos and with the Raiders,
Broncos.
which is incredible. That 10 years later, you're still a bad coach in the same ways. Antonio Pierce is the complete opposite. No idea whether he's a good X and O's guys, but we know what he's going to bring as a head coach, and that is that makes you a little bit more fearful as a Dolphins fan going into this game because the Raiders, they are giving it their 100% all. Where they may lack talent, they are going to fight. They're going to fight for every yard. They're going to fight every single play, every single snap. You're going to get 100% out of these guys because they believe in the guy they're playing for. And the biggest guy to obviously watch on this Raiders team is Devontae Adams. And the Raiders have struggled to get Devontae Adams the ball this year. 659 yards is going to be projected to be amongst the lowest totals in his career so far, going back to like his rookie season. 3 touchdowns on the season. He's probably barely going to crack 1,000 yards. He's probably not going to crack 10 touchdowns with how the season's going, especially since this team doesn't score a lot in general, regardless of whether it's him, regardless of whether it's Josh Jacobs or anybody else on this team. But Devontae Adams, regardless of how much he struggled to get the ball, they've struggled to get the ball to him and make big plays. No matter what, whenever he's on the field, he's still somebody you have to watch out for at all times.
Yeah, 100%. But honestly, I don't think that's the biggest X factor in this game. I think it's going to be Max Crosby on their defensive side because we all know he's an absolute wrecking ball, and we also know that the Dolphins in every loss that they've had, Tua has been sacked 3 or more times.
Yes.
And every win that we had, he had 1 sack or less. So, he's never had a 2-sack game apparently this season. But besides that, if Max Crosby going against Austin Jackson, that's going to be the test of all tests for Austin Jackson. Now he held his own against a couple of good pass rushers dating back all the way to the Chargers game when he went against both Bosa and Mack. But now you have probably one of the best, if not the best, pass rusher in the league. And if he can get to Tua and disrupt him and disrupt the timing of this offensive line and this offense, that's also an issue that we've had with the losses that we've had, is that our timing has been majorly disrupted and we aren't as good with off-script plays. Now, Tua, when he rolls out, he can find someone and he'll laser it in there, but I don't think we have the communication between quarterback and receiver yet for those off-track plays.
Yeah, and I just talked about Adams. You just talked about Max Crosby on defense. Another guy, Josh Jacobs, where this Dolphins team has gotten better against the run as the season's gone on. We've still allowed the 28th most or 28th least amount of rushing yards. I hate how they have this layered here on the website. So that's what, the 5th. They've allowed the 5th most rushing yards in the entire NFL. And Josh Jacobs is not running behind a good offensive line, but we saw last year as he won the rushing crown for the most rushing yards. And this season, it's, again, not going to be his best year once the year is done with, but 622 yards and 5 touchdowns. We know with this Raiders team where production is going to come from both on offense and on defense. Max Crosby getting into the backfield, they have to have him applying pressure, and he does not come off the field. He plays nearly every play, whether it's first down, third down, fourth down. It doesn't matter whether it's goal to go, whether it's on the other side on the 10-yard line. He plays just about every single snap. And then on offense, everything is going to have to come down to stopping Devontae Adams and stopping Josh Jacobs. Yeah, you still have to worry about a few other guys out there, like Jacoby Myers. But for the most part, and on defense, a few other guys, but it is those 3. You keep those 3 contained, you're probably going to have a good game. As for the Dolphins' success, we have to get the ball back into the hands of just as many different playmakers as we possibly can. You look at games in which we've gotten the ball into the hands of 10 different players versus not. It's a night and day difference. Like the Chiefs game, you ran the ball pretty much entirely through Raheem Mostert and Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle had a few catches, but there was no spreading of the love. And now with Devon Achane coming back, now with River Craycraft coming back, I need and want to see this Dolphins team just give the ball to everybody, so the other team's defense has no idea where the ball is going on any specific play.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of having so many different weapons, is to be able to do that. And River Craycraft being our second biggest receiver behind Chase Claypool, it's going to be,
he's not bigger than Cedric.
Cool. Bigger than Cedric.
He's not bigger than Cedric. Cedric's 6'1".
You sure he's 6'1"?
Yeah, Cedric's
I think we've been over this before. I think they're both 6'1", but Craycraft is like
Craycraft's
220 something.
No, Craycraft is not even close. He's 6 foot and he's 198 pounds. Whereas Cedric Wilson's like 170. He's 6'2". He's probably lighter. He's 183. So very comparable in weight, 189, I think I said, and 183. 198. So he is bigger in stature, but he does have 2 inches on him.
Okay.
And every inch matters.
Oh my god. Okay, if that's what you want to tell yourself.
I do. It's a good team against a bad team. All right, that's ultimately come down to. It's a good team against a bad team.
That's the end of the day.
It's a good team against a bad team. A well-coached team with one of the best coaches in the NFL versus an interim head coach who we believe in, but we have no idea whether he's actually a good coach or not.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then, if you want to talk about X factors, we already talked about the Raiders X factors. The Dolphins X factor, for me, I'm not even going to name a player. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the coaching staff. The coaching staff getting it to as many players as possible, and also the defense just getting a pass rush to this rookie quarterback so he doesn't have time to look for Devontae Adams or Jacoby Myers. That's just what it's going to be.
He did not just say the X factor is going to be the coaches. I'm going to say that the X factor, believe it or not, is going to be a player. And I'm going to say that player is going to be Devon Achane in his first game back. While it's very possible, and I'd say even realistic, that we don't see a high volume of work from Devon Achane. That was never Devon Achane's game at this point, when he was playing earlier on in the season, and now at this point when he's coming back. He was not a 20 touches a game type of guy. He'd get 10 to 13 carries, 3 to 4 catches, and just made everything with his opportunities. He's probably going to be a little less explosive. He might, he had like a big play or 2 or 3 or 4 every single game. He'll probably still have that one big play, but you're not going to get Devon like 51-point fantasy performance against the Broncos. That's not what we're probably going to see against the Raiders. We hopefully for both of our sakes we do, but and hopefully for your sakes at home, who has Devon Achane, lucky enough to have him. But likelihood is that's not what's going to happen this week. But I do expect to see him back in the team. His explosiveness, what you can do with him on the field, how he just changes the entire dynamic of the offense, because you're lining him up multiple different positions. You line him out wide, in the slot, in that tight end spot where we always see Tyreek shoot out from and run his route, backfield with Raheem Mostert, in the slot with Raheem in the backfield, end around, get a pass. Like, you don't know what he's going to do at any play, and that's what this Dolphins offense is and has to be. So many guys out here, all can run, all have so much talent. How are we going to stop them? And Devon Achane is that to a T. On defense, I'm just gonna give it to Jalen Ramsey, because I assume he's going to be on Devontae Adams for the majority of the day. Even though we've played a lot more zone than the Dolphins fans have been used to in recent years, I assume we see Jalen Ramsey mostly stick to the side that Devontae Adams is on. I feel more comfortable with him.
I don't think so.
I feel more comfortable with Devontae Adams. I feel more comfortable with Jalen Ramsey going against Devontae Adams than I do Xavier Howard, because you look at their height. They're basically about the same height. Devontae Adams isn't as big as you think he is. He's only like 6'2", but I'm pretty sure Ramsey's also 6'2". So I'd like to see Ramsey stick to the side that Devontae Adams is on.
I'd like to see that too. But that's just not going to happen. If that was going to happen, it would have happened with Stephon Diggs, Xavier Howard on Stephon Diggs. But we saw that that's not happening, and we just know it's just not gonna happen. It's going to be Xavier Howard on his side, Jalen Ramsey on his side, and that's just how it's going to be.
That's possible. So, with all that being said, Donovan, how's the game going to
Oh man, I'm gonna go ahead and say 42-13, if that. I'll stick. I'll stick with
Uh,
13, but I think that's a little high for them.
uh high for them.
Hmm.
Because they've been enjoying themselves out there recently. And look, you play for a coach that you hate, and now you play for a coach that you love, and you win 2 games. Yeah, celebrate because you're not winning the Super Bowl. You're not getting to the playoffs. So enjoy yourself where you can. And I don't think they're going to enjoy themselves playing against the Dolphins. Maybe they've enjoyed themselves in taking up Miami. I don't think at the time of recording this they're down here quite yet. But once they do get down here, former players always talk about coming down to Miami and the trouble you can get into and the fun that you can have down here with the nightlife. I think that they're going to enjoy that more than they're going to enjoy the football game on Sunday. I'm not going to quite go with as large of a margin of victory, but still quite a large margin of victory. I think they can score. I think they can put some points up on the board. I'm going to go with a 17-38. Nice. I'm going to go 38-17.
17.
38-17, Dolphins taking the victory, easily covering and getting back to winning ways, winning against a team who is at 500. So we've done that twice. We would have done that twice this year. Obviously, Chargers week 1, both teams are 500. So if you win, you beat the team at 500, and then be a team that's actually at 500. The 5-5 Raiders, moving them 5-6, and moving the Miami Dolphins to 7-3 on the season. So with that, that's pretty much a wrap. I feel good about everything. Manon was texting me this whole time trying to get advice on a trade. That's why I kept looking over and texting back because he's really trying to make a move in our Publix league. I'm so happy with the moves that I've made in fantasy. This is the BS part of the show, so welcome. If you just joined or if you're still here, welcome. You made it. I think I'm about done with making trades in fantasy football this year. I feel great about the deals I've made. Done making trades. I mean, unless one comes my way.
Send me Jamar Chase.
I just got Jamar Chase. In case anybody missed that. I did trade Devontae Adams, who we just spent a large time talking about, and Puka. So I gave up a lot, but it's Jamar Chase. Dog.
I'll give you Olave and Amari Cooper.
I'll give you... No. Why would I do that? I'd rather have the guys that I had before. You'd have to give me Amon-Ra and something.
No.
Yeah, you have to give me Amon-Ra and Olave for me to do that.
Isn't Amon-Ra ranked higher right now?
Jamar Chase also missed a week, I want to say. I'm not sure if he is, but are you Donovan Quick genuinely telling me right now you'd rather have Amon-Ra than Jamar Chase? Answer that honestly.
Okay, if I give you Amon-Ra, would it be like Amon-Ra and Dobbs, or are you talking about Amon-Ra and Lockett? Because
that's Olave.
And Olave for Jamar Chase? No, you're smoking, bro. They're literally Jamar Chase is 180.5 on the season.
Because I have no incentive to you have to give me incentive to do it. Just like what I did, I gave Adam a reason to do the deal because he got Puka and Devontae Adams. As much as people can say some of my trades are kind of wild, that's a hard trade to say no to. Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, even though it is Jamar Chase, it's hard to say no to.
And Jamar Chase is carried by that 50-point game.
That's an exaggeration.
No, it's not.
Earlier in the season, he struggled because the Bengals struggled in general.
9, 8, 26, 14, 52.
Dude, they sucked 14. In general. The whole team sucked in the beginning of the season. No. You're wrong. Your logic is completely wrong. Your logic is completely wrong.
Since that 52-point game, he has 2 games under 15 points.
Yeah, and they were both at 14. So very convenient you chose that number.
No. Yes. 14 and 8.
Oh, sorry.
52, 14, 25, 8, and then 23.
Yeah, but he also has 23, 25. He also has that 52-point game. He also has that 26-point game. So it's very likely that he's going to have games in the future where he has above 20 points. Whereas Devontae Adams, I don't know if Devontae Adams hits 20 points for the rest of the season. He could, but if he didn't hit 20 points, if he didn't if he didn't have a game the rest of the season for 20 points, would you be surprised, Devontae Adams?
No, but Amon-Ra in that same time span. By the way, he missed a game against Carolina. He came back 30, 23, 16, bye week 30.
Okay.
Sorry, that's 16 to 18.
So there's 6 and 7, and also again the Bengals sucked the first 2 weeks. Like they were awful the first 2 weeks. Kind of conveniently forget that, and since then he's been amazing.
Not forgetting that.
So like that matters.
He
like
has
week
a game
1 and
under
2.
10 points.
Okay,
He has games under 10 points. Amon-Ra does not have games under 15 points. He has games under 10 points, and that was against Buffalo.
So
Buffalo's
you know how I told you about
absolutely
how I've told you about how annoying Joey and Frozen is to trade with, and how I've been trying to trade with him for 6 months or 6 weeks rather.
Management. Oh my god.
Manon just texted me saying he doesn't want him in the league next year.
I'll take over his spot.
I'm not kicking somebody out of the league. If a spot opens up and I can't get somebody else to fill it, I'll bring you back in. But
if a spot opens up, just bring me in. You don't have to find someone else.
Well, again, I'm trying to keep it as much as I can for people that are at the store.
I'm at the store a lot.
No, you're just there to see Sarah.
No, I'm there to see Joe and you.
Okay. And
Sarah just happens to be there.
How convenient. There's a good. Hey, bro. I really hope she can hook us up with tickets to or hook me, not you. You're not coming. You're not coming.
Should hook me up.
You
Bro,
and I both know
look. She don't even have to go to the game. How's he gonna know if he has, you know, his baby mama there or his wife there or girlfriend or whatever? He's not gonna bring his side chick.
If he gives her tickets, yes, he expects her to be there.
Well, no. I'm not saying like, look, she got to be, you know, she's not gonna go down and see him because, you know, girlfriend's gonna be there.
We're not listening. We're not, just for the record, we're not saying the player's name while we're live. Did you say it?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't think I said it either. If we did, oops.
But
there is a player. There's a player on a NFL. Did we also say the team even?
No, we did not.
Okay, good. We're not saying either. There is a player on a team that's not the Dolphins that one of my coworkers, he is fond of her, and trying to get him to give her tickets and have me go with her. So,
who do you flex? Wide receiver Devontae Smith or Mark Andrews?
Devontae Smith.
Who's the matchup
Chiefs
this week? Hold on.
It's the Chiefs and the Bengals for either team. Devontae Smith is the Chiefs. Mark Andrews is the Bengals. I mean, I'm always inclined to pick a wide receiver to flex over a tight end. I say that even though I've had Taysom Hill in my flex the last 2 weeks. But
I'd actually lean Mark Andrews.
No, Devontae Smith. You look at Devontae Smith's number. I don't have it in front of me, but look at Devontae Smith's numbers when Dallas Goedert is in the lineup versus when Dallas Goedert isn't in the lineup. Like last year at the end of the year when he went off, he went off with Dallas Goedert not in the lineup, and he kind of has done that.
This isn't about Devontae Smith as much as it's about the Chiefs' defense. Chiefs' defense has been low-key amazing.
Good. Not even low-key. Like it is very good. But they also have a lot to worry about with the Eagles even still. Like, what team, besides us, like, what team have they played that has this good of an offense? Chargers. And against the Chargers, I'm pretty sure the Chargers had a lot of yards in that game still. I'm always picking...
Since Goddard's been out, he has 22 and 14, so not bad.
But also, like, look at his production at the end of last year when Dallas Goedert was out. Like, dude was going... That's when dude was going off.
I'm on ESPN, not on...
Well,
but,
I'll just pull up his numbers.
You have him in Dynasty, right?
Oh, I could just do that. Yeah, I guess that's easier. I was just going to Google it, but I do have him Dynasty and Sleeper. Sleeper app, it's the way to go. Not for fantasy basketball, though, oddly enough. Fantasy basketball, I would not recommend Sleeper. I'd recommend ESPN. But if you're doing fantasy football, Sleeper. Last year, I don't remember last year when Dallas Goedert went out, but...
I do, because I had him.
So when was that?
Week 13 through
Week
15. week
Okay.
13 through 16. So he had 21, 17, 17, 31, 20.
Yeah. So, and then look at the weeks before week 13. 9, 13, 13, 4, 7. Like his splits with Goddard in the lineup versus out of the lineup, and he still has had good weeks with Goddard in the lineup. Like look at Washington week 3 last year, 30 points. Arizona week 5, 18 points. And then even this year, he's had a couple good games with Goddard in the lineup. Week 1, 17.7. Week 2, 23.1. Week 4, 14.8. And then Goddard goes down against Washington, and in that game he has 22.9. And then last week against Dallas, or the last week they played against Dallas, 14.1. Was Goddard out against the Commanders? Actually, I don't think he was.
That's the game. That's the game he got hurt.
Was it? Let me look at his production in that game. No. He played in that game. He played in that game. He got hurt against the Cowboys.
Yeah, hurt against Cow. Oh, so he only played. He just got hurt.
No, he actually
they
hasn't
had a
missed
bye week last week. That's why.
Yeah, they had a bye week. He hasn't actually missed the game yet, but he's more than likely to miss the game next week.
Well, he broke his forearm, so yeah, he's gonna miss it.
Well, he's doubtful.
The only reason
which I don't even know.
The thing is that the reason
doubtful was still a list.
I remember now. The reason that he wasn't on IR. Oh, you up? The reason that he wasn't on IR is because you keep losing my train of thought. Is because of the bye week. So the bye week, if you have the bye week and put him on IR, that means he's gonna be out 5 weeks instead of 4 weeks.
Yo, Draymond Green got fined $770,000.
Really? I saw he got suspended 5 games.
Which valid. $770,000.
That's crazy. I mean, he did have him in a headlock for a significant amount of time. It wasn't like, oh, you put him in a headlock to get him off of him. No, he put him in a headlock and then held the headlock.
No, yeah, that was valid. Like, I basically looked at it as like, look, any suspension he gets, like, is valid because I knew it wasn't gonna be above. It was never gonna be above 10. Anything below, anything between like 4 and 8 games, I'm like, yeah. He did.
Yeah.
Like, he could have snapped his neck if he wasn't careful. Like if he trips, let's say worst case scenario, Draymond like has him in a chokehold, and like they're in a skirmish, like they're fighting. Let's say he trips and like just kind of goes like this on accident. He literally could have killed him. Which look, I don't want to get into this, but like we just saw the dude who slashed the guy's throat over in England. Like he just got arrested. Now did he get arrested just because that's like a due process type thing, or like is he actually gonna get jail time? I highly doubt.
Yeah, he got charged with manslaughter.
He charged, but is he going to actually face? Like, is he actually going to like face jail time? I think that's very hard to convict. Cause
I remember that the family of the guy was even saying like, "Oh, it was an accident." Blah blah blah. Like
the video looks really bad, but also like what my perspective on that was, it looks like he was going to make contact with another guy and he missed that guy and it kind of threw him off balance. Now, getting your skate 5.5 feet in the air is still kind of crazy, but if you're skating really hard and you're anticipating making contact, it's kind of like when you're backing somebody down in basketball and they pull the chair on you. Like you go to make that hit and there's nothing there and you lose your balance and you fall. And it's skating, so I don't know. I have a hard time believing that someone would be that awful of a person that they would intentionally do that. Like maybe that's just my faith in humanity being higher than other people's faith in humanity, but like I just have a hard time believing that was on purpose.
Yeah, I don't think it was on purpose.
But you are also responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your actions, whether you do it intentionally or not. Like, vehicular manslaughter. That's why manslaughter is a thing in the first place. Negligent homicide. Like, there's a reason why those things exist because you are ultimately responsible for your own body. Yeah, not just somebody has to pay. Yeah, you did it.
So you're responsible for taking someone's life, like regardless if it was on purpose or an accident. You took someone's life. Anyways,
I didn't stop talking because I didn't have anything to say. I just stopped talking because I was reading a text message. Yeah, you took somebody's life. It's your skate. You're out there. Your foot was 5.5 feet in the air at the guy's neck. Like, look, do I think it's on purpose? No. But if he got jail time anyways, because again, you're responsible for your own body. Look, I wouldn't be surprised. But also, dudes die in like military training purposes, like training activities all the time, and like nobody gets in trouble for that because it's just part of what happens. So like, I don't know. I don't know. I think that's where we cut it. I'm very hungry. It's almost 9 o'clock. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
if anybody's still in here, appreciate you. I'm surprised more trades haven't happened. Like since I opened up the trade, I've opened and closed the trade window like 6 times.
Joe literally has been sending trades to everybody except me. And I'm just like, bro, send me a trade.
I don't think he's really sent me any trades. This is okay. This is BS time, but this part of the episode is literally just me and Donovan having a conversation. Like if we weren't on here right now, we would have this conversation anyways. And there's one of you guys watching. It might be me. It might be Donovan. It might be somebody else. If it's somebody else, we appreciate you being here. No, I don't think he's sent me a single trade. I've sent him a few offers, but I don't think he's sent me a single trade.
Yeah, I sent him so many different offers. And I sent him an offer for Keenan Allen. And I sent him offers for Rashad White, for Christian Kirk, for Keenan Allen. I offered him Olave and Lockett or Olave and Amari Cooper for Keenan Allen. And he said no.
Say and his flex
spot isn't
I was reading a text message. Say it one more time.
I offered him I offered him Olave and Lockett or Olave and Amari Cooper for Keenan Allen or CeeDee Lamb, and he said no.
Oh, I would say no to that too. Dude, yeah. Keenan Allen's wide receiver 2, CeeDee Lamb's wide receiver 4. Like, dude, he has both.
Chris almost accepted my offer for Keenan Allen last week. I offered him Olave and Lockett for him last week, and he said he needed a running back, and then I offered him Kareem Hunt, and then he said Zach Moss is better than Kareem Hunt.
Dude, I almost got Adam to accept Devontae Adams and Calvin Ridley for Jamar Chase last week, bro. I could have had Puka and Jamar Chase and Hollywood Brown and Nico Collins. I could have had all 4 of those guys.
It's amazing how, like, given I did the same thing to you, like, you're so close to a trade, and then they just, like, change their mind.
I'm glad you did, because I'd rather have Hollywood the rest of the year. Hollywood's the clear wide receiver 1 there. He's the clear wide receiver 1. We just saw DK have his best week in a while for the Seahawks. JSN, we've seen an increase of workload over the last 4 games. He's not getting any worse as a player. I don't really believe in Geno Smith. The quarterback situation is definitely better. Honestly, the offense might overall be more in favor of Hollywood because the Seahawks love to run the ball, and now Zach Charbonnet is getting more involved. There's just so much going against Tyler Lockett, on top of the fact Geno Smith is his quarterback. And he's still producing. Look. I would have done that deal. I was trying to convince you to do that deal. But Hollywood just got Kyler back. Like, we like Michael Wilson, but we'll see what he ends up being this year. James Conner, solid running back, but I'll take my Hollywood Brown. And it's not even because I'm a Ravens fan as well. Like, no, I can't. I hated him on the Ravens because he just couldn't catch the ball. He's clearly talented, but thankfully he's gotten better at dropping the ball. Is there anything interesting? Maybe we can do this a little bit right before we go, because again, I'm really hungry. Is there
anything we can do for trades?
Is there anything
What? I have Kittle for sale in midlife. I have
Mark Andrews, bro. I don't need him.
You can use 2 tight ends,
brother. You see my team. There's what do you want for George Kittle? I guess maybe I should ask at the very least.
Since you don't have picks, I would just young guys. What young dudes do you have?
I have a few in my basement. Do you want those?
I was waiting for that answer.
And legally speaking, I have to say that I'm not joking. I do have kids in my basement.
He doesn't have a basement.
Smart guy.
We,
I don't have any young guys.
by the way, I'm not sure if you
Elijah
noticed
Mitchell?
this.
Elijah Mitchell, I think, is my youngest player.
No,
He's 25. He feels older.
he does, but he came into the league really young. Did you notice that? So we played each other twice already in Dynasty, right? Did you notice that the first time we played, I had the highest points in a loss, having the second highest points that week, and then this week, you had this. I had the lowest points in a win. It's
I
amazing.
guess that's poetic.
It is poetic.
Jeez. In Dynasty, I currently have DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry, Hollywood Brown, and Jalen Waddle on my bench. I actually just put Waddle in my starting lineup. Can my team finally play good?
What would it take for Waddle?
Your virginity. Because I know you still have that.
I'm not Liz. Damn, I hope she's not watching. That was out of pocket.
Give me Puka and Brian Robinson. Dog, Mana has sent me like 7 text messages of screenshots between him and Joey about why he's pissed off about him. And I don't know if he's necessarily done yet. Oh, yep, no, he's typing. It's not done. 8. Yep, just sent me 8. There's no timestamps on him. There's no timestamps on him. Oh gosh, your team's come around.
Right, dude. My receivers are actually really, really like none of them pop off, right? But they're all really solid. They're young.
Your team, okay. Your team looks a lot better than before. Oh my gosh, but your picks suck.
My picks don't suck. I have like
four
or five.
Seconds. That's crazy. You should try to trade. Yeah. You should try to get a first. One of my firsts is floating around there somewhere probably.
I've tried getting my first back.
Look at that.
I've tried getting.
You see where it says draft picks? I don't know if you can see that. Draft picks, 0.
Nothing. I took all of them.
But my roster is just absurd.
I gave you pretty much all my good players. I gave you Nick Chubb, DeAndre Hopkins. Who else did I give you?
CMC back.
That was before I blew it up, though.
That was before you blew it up. We'll just post blow up. I think that's it.
I took like all of your draft picks, though.
Jeez, man, it sent me 9 screenshots of text messages. Okay, I'm hungry. I'm leaving. Is there anybody in here? If there is, we appreciate y'all. If there is anybody in here, hit that subscribe button. I'm going over and looking. I don't think there is anybody in here. But yeah. So like, I don't know. Tell somebody